Everyone, some of you might be waiting for this for quite a while, but just welcome to the Bad Times Squad. I am back with another video, and this is part 4 of it. This is gonna be an interesting one because I have to re-download a lot of videos, a lot of pictures. I mean, because for some reason my pictures keep on disappearing. Like now, I just lost the whole squadron of pictures that I used for my last video that I made. As I'm gonna stop rambling here and begin the story. I'm gonna do a few recaps before I begin the story, so let's do it right now. Hold up. Let's put it on lock quickly. Okay, recap. Just a quick recap. Let me just find a picture. Yeah. New member of the squad, Bad Time Squad, Azrael Sands. He'll be joining us. But if you're wondering now, how is he gonna be fusing with Fisker? That's gonna be on the fly. And I'm not gonna be changing the story either. So I'm continuing on. As we left off by recap of Izuku finishing the entrance exam. She just finished the entrance exam and she was heading home waiting for a message. So basically that was the time skip, as she was also training with All Might, learning a few abilities like, I think, yeah, like small gas blasters, but like a little bit of bones. She hasn't learned how to teleport yet. She doesn't know that of abilities yet. She doesn't know she can make hands. She didn't train that one yet. She doesn't know she can move people with us using soul magic. She didn't do that yet. Or blue magic, to be more specific. She doesn't know how to make blue or orange bones. And she's also going to get a new roster of abilities once Azrael fuses with her. Obviously, as we are going to continue now off of the entrance exam. I said I would try to cover the USJ as well. I will try because there's going to be a lot of things happening in this what if right now. Let's go story-wise. Okay. Time skip to when Izuku gets basically her letter of Krenua. She didn't get, she basically got equal to All Might. She didn't surpass All Might in any way. She basically got a lot of points that is basically equal. She got All Might's, basically she didn't break any, world records or anything like All Might did. No. She basically got All Might's world record. That's what she basically got. As All Might congratulates her on getting basically first in the basically the test, as he says his old classical welcome to your hero academy, as basically if this is going to be stoked. As I'm also going to do a recap on her personality because I might change a few things on her personality wise. Okay, personality wise, she's still going to look like this. This is just another one of her creepy smiles. She's still gonna move, she's still gonna have a seductive way of how looking upon things, basically. Like in the last video, like I said, she's still gonna be one of those seductive types, those girls that does not care in the world what they do. They will flirt with everyone and they will do it because they want to, basically like that. Like in some of the Undertale games, you get the option to flirt with your opponents. Yeah, she's gonna do that always. With her, basically, if you watch the new if you watch the new music video, "Cry Baby," it's basically a animatronic Minecraft animatronic, basically Minecraft animatronic song that is basically Baby busy singing. As I'm not going to sing the lyrics because I have the copyright. I'll have my ass down. But continuing on, Yes, now the way baby moves in the Minecraft, basically music video, that's how like first moves. She's basically swy, bouncy, not that cheery, but she's just sly with the moves or so. As I'm gonna continue on without sticking on her personality a lot, but she's gonna be quite scary as well. People are gonna be scared of her, but not to the point where, as not to the point where they are actually just scared of her, like shit's going scared of her, like they avoid her. No, she's gonna be scary to the point where it's basically she's not like basically it's like a friendly blackmail she's doing. As I'm gonna continue on, the next change that might be happening to someone's basically the way they act is Bakugo. Bakugo is gonna be acting different in this video because I actually changed how the way he acts a bit more to make it more realistic. Because seriously, he is gonna be basically one of the ships of this video. So is another person, but I'm not gonna say. I mean, if you didn't watch the videos, you don't know who the second ship's gonna be. Yeah, continuing on. Sorry, blaming my phone. Really bad. Give me a minute. Okay, back again. Okay. Continuing on. Bakugo is not gonna. He's still gonna be that arrogant bastard, but he's not gonna be that scared of her, of Izuku anymore. He rather like he kind of likes her because he's been with Izuku now for a long time, and he's kind of gotten used to the way she acts and the way she talks and the way like she basically looks, the way she fights as well. He's kind of gotten used to it. So yeah, Izuku's like closer. She's gonna wear this jacket, and I said it's gonna be produced by the Void style that she can use. She is gonna have that hole in her hand. She is gonna wear those boots as a hero costume. Her skirt, obviously. Basically, she is gonna wear like from this her skirt and a jacket. But this is what she's gonna wear under the jacket. Basically, this is what she's gonna wear under the jacket. And there's the hole in her hand, like I said. There's it. As continuing on, Izuku is walking down to class, and also side note, this is what I mean why Bakugo's out the way Bakugo's acting is gonna be different. As Izuku is walking to class, she finally made it at UA. I basically just did a time skip to when she's at UA now. She is walking into her class. She finds class 1A, obviously, as she walks to the door and she thinks it's massive. It's just massive. As I'm gonna say this is a sliding door. I would say this is a sliding door, but I'm just gonna, if it's not, I'm just gonna say it's a sliding door for story wise. As she basically takes a breath in and out as she says to herself, okay, be calm. This is not frightening at all. Be calm, as she slides the door open, and all you hear is a big bam, like shh, bah, as the entire classroom goes quiet as they look at her, as when she enters, she gives a creepy smile, like this creepy smile, and she's just smiling now, but the smile's actually just red, and her eyes is actually just like, and you can't see her eyes because her eyes is closed. Like I said in the last video, her eyes is gonna be closed like First, and her smile is more like reddish, and she just gives a smile, and her smile like, oh shiz, I got all the attention on me now, as she basically says better do something as she walks in the class. As the first people she noticed out of the group is Ida and Bakugo. Bakugo just chilling there, like legs on the table. He doesn't care, and Ida's reprimanding him, as like basically reprimanding him to put his feet under the desk. obviously, as basically she's gonna be more friendlier to Bakugo. That's another thing. She's gonna be more friendly to Bakugo because that's what I'm changing here, just for story sake purposes. As she's like, Izuku's like, hey Bakugo, as Bakugo's like, hey there. As he gives a bit of a blush, but then he just leaves it afterwards. He's like shakes it off and he's like, so what you been doing? As Bakugo like sits up like perfectly up straight. As Ida's like then Ida's being ignored now. As basically she's like, not much, just been training. You is she basically asks Bakugo and you, as he's like, not doing anything either, just training like you. As basically it is like, excuse, like basically he gives his kind of style. He basically like, excuse me, are you the one like they got first in the entrance exam? And she's like, yes. As she's like, yes, gives a question mark and just she doesn't smile. She just says yes. Like, and she's wondering why Ida's asking, as Ida gives it the same thing that you are a genius, basically you are the top student, better than I, you saw through the entrance exams and you saw that there would be result point, I applaud you for that. As she's like, oh my god, this guy is really, she's basically, oh my god, this guy really has a stick up his ass, doesn't he? As she basically gives the smile again, she stands up basically, leans forward to Ida. She brings that like that knife out that she fritted him last time with, as Ida's questioning, wait, what are you doing? As she's leaning forward like she did before in the last video, as she basically puts the knife on his chest and he's like bringing it slow, like just how can I say, making circles on his chest, and she's looking down as on his chest and he's saying, Ida, would you do me a favor? And please, so please. And she looks him in the as she she looks him in the eye with this creepy smile as she opens her eyes and she says, take that stick that's straight up your ass and rip it out for a change. Would you? And she turns her head to the side of him and she gives that creepy smile that would scare anyone. As Ida has the same thing like he was before. He has mixed emotions on that last one. As she's like, basically goes back to normal, closes her eyes and says, thank you. And yes, she does have that hairpiece, but Ida saw both eyes this time. Ida could only see one eye before, but now we see both and that's just double scarier. As Izuku just sits down and she hisses because seriously she's tired of dealing with people like this. Izuku is, yeah, she's just tired of dealing with Ida. Ida has been on her bad side for a few minutes now, and it's only been like 2 days and she already doesn't like Ida that much. I'm not gonna say and just side note, why am I doing this to Ida? Well, I'm not gonna say I like him, but he's not the best character in my view. He is an interesting character, but not the best one. I would see Ida and Izuku not having a good relationship in the beginning. Like they would really like be at each other's throats constantly because Izuku is the laid back smart one. She's laid back genius basically. As Ida is more of a genius, but he's more of a basically he has to do everything right. He has to follow the rules type of girl, type of person, man, person. Yes, that's Ida. As Izuku is more of laid back. I'm smart, so I don't care at all. I don't feel like doing this. I'm not gonna put basically energy into this because I don't feel like doing it. That's how she's like. So basically, she's smart, and the opposite of Ida. Ida wants to be perfect, on point, follow the rules. She doesn't want to do that. Basically, she's smart. She can be on point if she wants to. She can do her best and do quite good if she wants to, if she has a reason to. Otherwise, she's not going to put any effort at all. She's basically a sans for crying out loud. She's mixed in with three sans that don't put any effort. And soon that's going to be four. Plus Gasser in the mix. Gasser's just going to be the fifth wheel. As continuing on, as Izuku sits down, as she basically sighs, as she can sense the soul. She can basically sense everyone's souls around her. She can sense what type of person they could be. Basically, she senses bravery. She senses Dinky, and she can tell he's kind of a bit of a pervert. He's kind of a bit of a pervert. He can sense Kurishima, and basically she doesn't know what soul Kurishima is, because Kurishima is a mix from red and orange, because she does not know what soul he is, as she's like, as she says as she says, like, in her mind, there's a lot of colorful people here today. There's a lot of colorful people here. A lot of colorful people. As their emotions are basically interesting to her, because some of the souls she hasn't seen before. That's why she says there's a lot of colorful people here today. As Izuku is basically, as oops as Izuku waits until the last child finally gets in the classroom, and the class starts continue talking until she senses another soul. As she basically tells the person that is in front of the door, can you please come out? Can you please? She basically says, if you are a teacher, can you please step in the classroom and silence the class? Thank you. And she says this in a bored tone, like she's bored. As Mrs. Zawa sits in, and this is like only a few minutes after Mrs. Zawa was in front of the black, or a few seconds in front of the door, basically. I mean, it was like 5 seconds. As Mrs. Zawa says, she sensed me. She sensed me way before then, but she didn't say anything. She only said something now because she was getting quite annoyed at the noise. I kind of think I'm gonna like this student, as I already know it. He made a good choice by taking this student, as he thinks like he's gonna like this student, as basically Mr. Zawa says, like, it took you 5 seconds for all of you to shut up. That's not gonna do. This is a hero school, not a conversation school. This is a hero school, not a place to make friends. As basically Mr. Zawa sits on his bag, basically he's normal, basically sleeping jacket, as he's like gives everybody basically gym clothes, as he tells everyone to change into this. Izuku is not in a clothes yet, the hero outfit. This is a hero outfit, I'm telling you. She's in the UA outfit. As just think of first, this first, this first in a UA outfit with basically a girl's uniform, by the way, because she's a girl, not a boy. As basically everyone gets dressed, and she's on the girl's side, and she's getting dressed. Like, also, she takes off her gloves, and everyone can see the hole in her hand. As basically, uh, the invisible girl would basically ask why does she have a hole in her hand. As she just says that she was born with it. As she like like dresses up, as she dresses in a gym uniform, and I yeah think everyone was wearing. Yeah, she dresses in her gym uniform as everyone's like basically like out there by the testing grounds obviously. As Mr. Azawa is saying that everyone's going to do a practical basically test to test their skills as he throws the ball to Izuku. Izuku grabs the ball, basically is set in a circle, and he asks, "What is your longest ball distance?" And uh, I'm gonna say above, like if Bakugo still got the same like ball throw as in middle school, cannon like cannon ball throw as in middle school. So I'm gonna say that he's also gonna get that she got like just above like his as Mr. Zawa is as Mr. Zawa is not impressed by the photo. He's just basically he just thinks that she has how can I say she's quite strong for being a girl to get that far of a photo. As basically she Azawa says throw this ball with a quirk as she's like, okay. As I don't think she knows how to use blue magic yet, so she's not going to use it. She's going to use yeah, I think that could be possible. She's going to use a gas eraser. She makes a small gas eraser, puts it in its mouth, and just it flies off. As it flies up, as it's going up, 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 and on until it breaks the atmosphere and it says infinity. As she is on par, she is equal with Uraka, basically. She gets infinity. As basically the rest of the test comes, she doesn't come first for all of them. To the long distance run, I would say she would come like not like close to last, but not last, because she can give herself a boost. So she would come like if but like if Invisible Girl is last on the long distance run, then Moneta would be second last, third last. She's seventh to last. She's seventh, but like near the last, like near last seven. As we do the strength grip test, she comes like say she comes like eighth place because she wouldn't like get that much strength because she's mostly she doesn't like she can't like she doesn't know how to do some of her abilities yet. So some of her abilities is still blanked out for her as I don't know all the stuff they did, the long jump, I would say she gets first in it because she's very acrobatic. I would say she gets first in it because no, I would say she gets fourth because she may be acrobatic but she basically needs to jump how far she can jump and Bakugo can just level the playing field with his quirk. So basically she would get basically fifth, I guess. She would get fifth without using a quirk, which impresses Miss Zawa because she got fifth out of all the children that can use a quirk. She got fifth and she didn't need to use a quirk because she's already acrobatic as it is. As Bakugo throws, she is still on top as she gets round about 7th place. Comparing to a placing, she rates 7, 6 or 5 place, one of you. I would say she gets 6th place. Let's just say she gets 6th place as Bakugo is still the same. The person that got 6th place got 7th, 8th, 9th. Yeah, everybody moves down because instead of Izuku in like the original anime getting close to last, she gets 5th place obviously as basically All Might is also All Might, oh my, yeah, All Might has also like watched the entrance exam and watched her exam as well, and he's impressed with Izuku because she's come a long way. And now I am going to skip to the USJ now because something's going to happen. But before I skip to the USA, let's skip to this scene. It's a few days before the practical test, as Mr. Zawa has already told them that that test was basically not actually to kick you out, but to test your like how how far can you use your quirk, can you use it effectively, basically all that. As basically he just told them that he'll expel everyone. It was basically like a trick, and Izuku knew this. It was a trick, a wordplay, just to make them do their best. As basically he and she Momo were the only she and Momo were the only two that knew that. As when Momo says, "Oh, was I supposed to tell you guys?" and they said, "Yeah," as Izuku basically replied with, "You didn't need, well," as Izuku replied with, "Well, we didn't need to tell them that it was just a trick anyway. They would have needed to try their best anyway." As she just says that, as Momo's like, "You knew also?" And it's like, obviously, I can sense a person's souls. No one can lie to me. I can sense a person's soul. No one can lie to me. It's basically, she basically says it's impossible to lie to her. So no one can, so there's no lie that she can't see. As Momo's, as I was also impressed that Izuku like could do that. Like there's no lie that can basically, there's no lie that can, no one can lie to her basically because she said can sense someone's soul. She just said. As everyone leaves it off there, as they basically like cursing. They should have told like at least someone in this classroom. As we're gonna have few 3 days skip, as Izuku's like been going to this like UA, as Izuku's coming out of UA, as he's basically she's going past that shady alley with the slime villain again because she just feels like taking a trip down memory lane, as she basically thinks this place always looks shady. As she walks through it, as she always like there she comes to a fort. Maybe why does the she just comes to a fort like a lot of, I bet, like she just says, "I bet you something bad is gonna happen to me in this tunnel when I come out of it." As when she's about to reach the exit of the tunnel, basically she gets basically she gets magnetized to the wall for some reason, and she's like, "I can't move. What's going on?" As we see someone approaching from the shadows, as she's in her head, "I was right. Why does this place always have such bad luck?" As we see Azrael Sands, as Azrael Sands is quite injured, as basically he came in this universe. Yeah, this is Azrael Sands. Azrael Sands is very injured because he came actually into this universe by accident. He didn't actually mean to slip into this universe, but he is quite injured right now. As he came here to hide from any like he came here for to hide because there's another Sans after him. So basically he sees this person's soul and it's a weird soul. It basically is a purple soul with black and white dots in the middle, with another soul that is split between blue and orange, and on the outer layer is just red. It's like it has a red force field around the soul. As he's like, what? Multiple souls fused together in this universe? That doesn't make sense. I thought people couldn't use souls. As basically Azrael is very injured right now and he's about to die, obviously. As he's thinking to himself, as he grabs his soul, and remember, Azrael is desperate now. He's the last remaining person of his universe that's being erased right now. And we all know who likes to destroy universes. Um, as Ariel like reaches for his rainbow color soul, he basically pulls it out and says, "Take it. I only have a little time. Take it." As she's like, Izuku's like, "Wait, what?" As Ariel's like, "You heard me. Take my soul." As she basically is like she's basically like panicking and he's like, "What should I do? What should I do? What should we do?" As Azrael just says it again, "Take my soul." As he's basically pleading now, as he says please, as she's like fine, as she takes it, as basically she closes her eyes, as when she opens it, Azrael, basically the soul's disappeared, as as Azrael slowly starts turning to dust, basically with his like last remaining power that she has, like that he has, he basically like teleports her someplace else, like someplace where he can like where she can like hide. As Ezreal's still in the universe, he's not fading to dust yet. As we see some other sands come out of the portal, as he's like, "Oh, oh, oh, this is where you ran to. Damn, you're a slippery person, aren't you? I mean, I did just destroy your whole universe. As this is Irisans, as Irisans has been like looking for the glitch sans tails, and this was one of the glitch undertales. As he's like, you know, you're basically quite strong for a kid, right? As basically as he was like, yeah, go to hell. As he says this, as basically Eris says like, oh, 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 that is not nice now. I mean, we all friends here, right? As Eris gives, Eris is basically now gonna kill like Sans. He wants, he wants, he wants Azrael Sans' soul. Basically, he wants it, but when he checks Azrael for his soul, it's not there. So it means he gave someone the soul. Now, now, first, uh, basically Izuku is watching this as as a as when like Glitchtrap was gonna reach for Azrael's soul and he tries to detect it, it's not there. As Azrael laughs in pain, like I guess you were too late. I guess some fish here beat you to the gold mine. As he's like, you bastard! Where did you put it? And he's like, I didn't put it anywhere. You're gonna have to find that out yourself. Damn it! As it was like, damn it! I'm gonna kill as Azrael is turning to dust as he's like, as he tells Era, sorry, you're already too late to kill me now. As he's waving and he's giving that smug smile like, sorry, if you want my soul then you're gonna have to find it then. As he waves, as he turns to dust, as Era's like, damn it! I am angry now. As he's like, as it like as Ero like is like pissed as he enters through the portal, but when he's about to enter, he senses something as he turns to that direction, as basically Izuku like hides, as basically she hides, as basically Ero-san's like, thought I felt a soul now. Strange. I'm just gonna leave it. As Ero-san just like continues to just walk through the portal because he didn't know anything was there and he didn't feel like checking because he's too angry to do that. As Izuku like basically comes out there and he's like, damn, he was scary. As basically says, phew. Hold up guys, something's happening quickly. Yes, yes, Erisans is now a threat to Izuku because Izuku has now a special soul that has infused a lot of sands with her, so she has a lot of power and she can do some crazy things with these souls. She is basically gonna have a target on her back by the Undertale, the universes, the multiple universes of Undertale. Irisans is after her. Yes, Irisans is gonna pose more of a threat to her now, and you never know, you might see Irisans helping some of the villains in My Hero Academia, such as, let me see, Awful One, maybe, or maybe she has to go fight Irisans solo. Or even better, she also has more of a threat against Irisans. If she has a threat against Irisans, the people that work with Irisans, they're gonna be her villain. They're gonna be fighting her also. Horror Sans, Nightmare Sans, the one with the tendrils, black tendrils, looks like an ink monster. Yes, that Sans. I think it's Nightmare Sans and Horror Sans. What else? That mass genocide Sans. Yeah, a whole lot of Sanses that are evil is going to be after her, because if Emma's after her, all of those Sanses are after her. It's going to be a big fight, but because Emma Sans is after her, Ink Sans is going to have to protect her. So that means you might see some of the Ink Sans members, such as Dream. No, not Dream. That Dream one, the basically the opposite version of Nightmare Sans. He might pop up like somewhere in the series. Ink Sans might show up himself. Who else? Blue, basically the brother of Undersword Papyrus. Blue is also going to pop up somewhere in the series. Maybe somewhere down the line during the Eerie incidents. You never know. A lot of things could happen. Even Frisk and Kara themselves that are free from the player is also going to pop up somewhere. But they're going to have more of a threat by Irisans. As I'm going to continue now, as basically she's like, damn, that just happened. As she walks out of her hiding spot, as she's walking home like very stunned, as she's basically in a shocked, like she's giving a shocked face, as she says hi to her mother. She still has that shocked expression, as her mother's like, Izuku, what's wrong? Did something happen? As she's like, Mom, I'm gonna stay in my room for a minute or two. I'm just gonna go sleep now. As basically she's still shocked, as she basically takes a shower and she gets into bed and she's still shocked of basically what's happening. She's still trying to just like, how can I say, wrap her brains around what just happened. As she falls asleep with this shocked expression. As she wakes up again, she's a bit different now. She can feel she's a bit different. She has a more cheerful mood because of Azrael. She gains a more cheerful mood. She's not that so, I can say, horrifying. She can be actually kind of cute now in this one because of Azrael. As now I have the chance to skip to this picture and use this picture. As basically she wakes up in the morning, she's a bit more happier. She does not know why, she's just a bit more happier. Her soul was different. Sorry guys, moving locations again. Being disturbed this time. Don't like getting disturbed, but I'm making a video. Continuing. Yes, Izuku is like in a more cheerful mood today. She's basically getting ready, getting rest, getting breakfast, and she's skipping to school this time. She doesn't know what's happening. She's just in a more cheerful mood. She's thinking about this. She thinks that it's probably that soul that she's moved, that she's kind of like absorbed. As the outer red layer of her soul, that red, like it's a red like shield, you can say, got split in half, and now there's a red shield on one side where it is basically orange, and on the other side is a rainbow color. As we're gonna take a trip into her soul as P3 actually 4 people are meeting once again as it's Azrael Sands basically coming face to Iris Torres Sands, and at the back of her is Classic Sands and Overswap Papyrus with Gasper, as they are having a conversation of what's happening and what happened to get how did they get here. As Azrael basically is all his wisdom, and that's not actually a lot. Azrael does not have a lot of wisdom. In all his wisdom is basically understand. He basically understands, and that's all that Azrael can do. Understand, because depend like depicting on Sans was a scientist. Papyrus under Swap Papyrus, because you're putting Papyrus in Sans's shoes. He was a royal scientist as well. As I don't think Isiskara was a scientist. Gaster was also a royal scientist. Isiskara wasn't a scientist, and Azrael wasn't a scientist. So in all Azrael's knowledge, which is not a lot, uh, he basically can only understand what is happening right now. As they are basically watching Izuku, as they are gonna make contact soon, but it will only be after the USJ. As basically now we're gonna skip to the USJ, because now she is now um basically Izuku is now like on the bus all the way to the USJ, and this time they are having a quirk talk, like the basically the classmates are talking about the quirk, their quirks, as basically the same person in actually I don't know who was in front of her. As I'm just gonna say that Mina asked Deku what her quirk was, as she basically is thinking like how to explain it in an easier way. As she says she can do multiple things with a quirk. As she says, she can make bones out of a quirk. She makes basically one long bone, which is the size of her arm, basically. Actually, no, it's the size of a hand. No, yeah, just say, yeah, let's just say the size of a hand, because she makes it small. She's like, I can also make these skulls. She makes a Gaster Blaster. As she says, it can shoot out beams, but it takes a lot of energy. As she says, she can also like do like this with people. As when she opens her eyes, everybody's souls start appearing on their chest. As she's like, and that's how I'm able to know what type of person you are. As Mina's like, what do you mean by type of person we are? It's like your souls, that's what these heart-shaped things on your chest are. Basically, they represent who you are. Basically, actually, I'm wondering who could have bravery, the soul of bravery in this classroom. Um, I know Izuku has the soul of bravery. Obviously, he has the soul of bravery. Um, I'm gonna say like Kuroshima has like a type of like. I'm gonna say he has like a type of. Basically, I'm gonna say Kuroshima has a red soul because he has soul of determination. He's determined to make his dream come true. That's another quotation from me. He's determined to make his dream come true, as she points at Kuroshima's. As Kuroshima's soul is red, it's the soul of determination. She says it's one of the most unstable souls, because if you have too much determination, it could like you could just drown in your own emotion, basically. Like she knows, as she basically she like just knows this. She doesn't know why she knows this about the quirk. She just knows this, as she basically knows the power of determination. It's very powerful. As Kuroshima is like, so my soul, or the way I or the way I am is of determination. Yes, and she's like, yes, you are determined to make whatever you wish come true. As Kurishima's like, damn, that sounds so manly. As he's like, basically, he's doing that Kurishima thing with that so manly. As basically, she gives a small smile as she's thinking in her head, I better not tell him what that soul is. I better not tell him that soul is one of the most dangerous souls out there. But I'm just gonna leave it as is. I'm not gonna tell you that souls is one of the most dangerous souls out there. As basically, uh, basically they get to the USJ before before any other talks are happening. As as they get to the USJ, as basically now she's like walking through the USJ as um I forgot what that hero's name. I Zero something. The the black hole hero, space hero. I don't know her name, but I don't know a hero name. But she's basically explaining, and while basically Izuku's walking through this place, and basically she gets a flash memory. It's just a flash memory, like just quick memory flash as goes away. As basically it shows a hall with a sunset, and in this hallway it's just orange. As she knows this place, as she's basically scared of this place. It's like she fears this place. Every part of her fears this place. As basically she's looking at the waterfall, and when she's looking at the waterfall she's seeing some person, and it's just flashing to basically Judgment Hall. As she's like, why do I feel this way, like deja vu. As she basically takes a step in front of the stairs as everybody's watching her, as Mr. Azawa's like, Izuku, get back in line, what are you doing? As Azawa like sees like her eyes is open, and basically she is scared. As when Azawa like put his hand in front of her, it's like she's in a trance, like she's seen something they can't see. As the portal opens up, as villains like basically Shiguraki and the Nobu can start walking out, as what she's seen in this flash is basically Frisk walking through the door, slowly walking to her, as her like basically like when like Shiguraki steps out, he's basically talking while she's just staring. As in the flash, Frisk stops, as basically she gets serious now, and when she like basically when Shigaraki stopped talking, as when he says this thing is here to kill, this thing can even kill, oh my yada yada yada, all that thing, as basically when he stops talking, everybody just feels a strike of bloodlust, like bam, a chill goes up their spine, everyone's spine, and the villains are already out, and they just feel this chill, and they're like, oh, what the hell? It's like we're gonna die or something. As she gets serious, and immediately when they feel that chill, she gets serious, like she knows what's about to happen here. It's gonna be a massacre. As she's just like having this vision, and in the real world this is just happening. As she comes back to the real world, as she's like, I know this place, I know this feeling. It's a feeling of fear. I fear what's about to happen, but I, I can't let this happen either. As basically she's basically serious. She's going all serious now. As Bakugo's calling out, Izuku, 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 as she steps out. It's like, what, Bakugo? As she looks at Bakugo with her eyes open, and she's like, what? And he's like, her. As he just takes a step back at this one, he's like, we gotta go. This is how it says we gotta get out of here. As basically Mr. Zhao's like already fighting the villains, as she's like, I can't. I don't know why, but I can't go. As she basically like stares at the Nomu, as basically it's like the Nomu morphs into Frisk in a way, basically showing like a vision of like basically the genocide web. As she's like, if I run, this thing is just gonna kill everyone, including me. And I'm not gonna run anymore. As Bakuro's like, what do you mean anymore? You haven't fought this thing before, have you? As she's like, no. As she's like, no. It's just, I feel like I fought in some scenario in this way before. Basically, she doesn't know what it's like. She's just having deja vu all over again. As basically Shigaraki basically they teleport everybody. They don't teleport first. First is just staring because she's just like staring at the she's having a vision of the genocide route. So they can't like teleport her because she's too far away from her classmates. As they tell the noble to basically take out Mr. Zawa. As when Mr. Zawa falls, his scarf came off. As it hits Izuku, as another flash comes and it's in Snowden, as we see basically a scarf on the floor and basically Ash on the floor. Ash just next to it, as Ash in front of it, somewhere in front of the scarf, because the scarf got blown away. So somewhere in front of Izuku, there's Ash, and she's holding a scarf. As when she swaps back to the real world, it's basically Mr. Azawa on the floor, beaten, bruised, and very in pain, as she's holding his scarf. As she's basically now pissed. She's angry. She doesn't know why she's angry. She's just angry. As she basically the Shigaraki says, Nobu, kill that girl as well. And she turns to the Nobu and she's like, you're gonna have a bad time now. As basically her eyes glow with a orange and blue kind of light. As basically everyone can feel this power boot, this just immense power coming from her. As she basically extends her hand, the Nomu gains a soul, which is an amalgamation soul. As she basically pulls it back, and the Nomu goes flying towards her. As she basically disappears immediately when the Nomu was about to just basically hit her, because the Nomu's using now her pulling just to get to her faster. So when the Nomu swings a fist at her, she basically teleports to the side of him. As basically she basically points up, as there's a gas blaster, a massive one, as it goes firing down. As basically the Nomu gets sent in the floor, as she pushes her hand backwards, as the Nomu goes flying across the USJ, hitting a wall. As basically Izuku closes her open hand and makes a fist, and bones start coming out of the wall, basically impaling the Nomu. As she basically is impaling. Now there is a bar, I have to say. There is a bar above the Nomu. So above the Nomu there is a bar. This bar is basically maxed out at 1500. And it's massive bar. As that basically gas blaster took off 10, just 10, and that one basically bang on the wall is basically 2, and then bones is basically 5. Now I would say just 1, because yeah, just say that. You guys can do the calculations. As it also applies a karma effect. So basically, it's still applying the karma effect. So even though, no, I would just say every attack just is 1 plus the karma effect. So it's doing a lot of damage. So there's a lot of 1s basically. You guys can do how much 1s and see how much it will kill a person with your calculations. I don't want to, as basically, everyone can see the Nomu's health bar, and it has a karma effect. And for some reason, the Nomu is not healing. As basically the Nomu screams in anger and just rushes to to Izuku, as basically Izuku uh, is just standing there as while the gnome is rushing, he like puts out a hand, open hand, as a bunch of bones appear behind her, like a lot of them, as she sends it forward, as they're all flying like projectiles, as they're basically embedding the no, like they're going in the Nomu like she has a machine gun of bones, and she's shooting at the Nomu. So that's basically what it's like, as the Nomu is basically tanking all of this, as his health is going down and down with the karma effect, as it's not healing at all, um, until something weird happens. This amalgamation cell, I would say the Nomu like that like can't heal when the karma effect is active, but like something different happened, as the Nomu soul like something like appears through a portal, as it's like basically it's a black string, as it's like basically it pulls the Nomu towards the portal, like it doesn't want, as the Nomu is like in front of the portal, as it gets covered in a black inky thing, as the Nomu's soul turns black, as it basically starts slowly healing. It's slowly healing its wounds, as Deku's like, what was that? As she looks through the portal, as she sees basically Horror-san, she basically sees Nightmare Sans waving at her, and she's like, "Good luck." Is he's basically laughing at the end of the portal, as he's like, "You damn!" As the Nobu gets covered in this black ink, as he gains like tails as well. He gains only 4 tails, as the Nobu is now like has a shell, so his health is fully restored. Plus, he has another bar, which is a shield, and he will slowly heal himself, but the combo effect still works on both bars. As she's like, basically, she's like, fine, looks like I have to get serious then. As she basically like like open hand points at the Nomu. She throws him against the wall. Bones come out. She basically like throws projectiles at him, as she makes two long red swords, and she's like, I'm gonna kill you this time, even if you have that weird shield over you. As basically now she rushes at the Nomu while still throwing bone projectiles at him. The Nomu's still in the wall, by the way. He's only getting out of it now. As she jumps in front of the Nomu, swings at it, as she cuts off the ink, as the shield bar goes down by half, as she lands on, like, basically she does like a backflip cut as she lands on top of the Nomu, stabs it in its back, as the Nomu is like wailing, as the shield goes like completely gone, as the karma effect goes back on the Nomu, as the Nomu's health is going down slowly, as she's basically like just stabbing these. So she makes a knife. Her one sword is still embedded in the Nomu at the back, so she can hold on, as she makes a knife and she's just stabbing into the Nomu, as basically everybody has finally gathered up and they help Mr. Azawa. So everyone sees this from Deku as they're watching Deku take down this monster, as basically this monster basically runs its back into the wall, and she jumps, basically she does a basically another backflip. She Her feet lands on the wall and she jumps forward, as when she lands like on the floor, the Nomu swings at her. She teleports, as when she teleports she's next to the Nomu, as basically the Nomu looks at her and she gives a smile and she waves with the gas blaster just shooting him all the way on the other side of the Nomu, as Shigaraki's like, who is this girl? This girl's so powerful. It's not fair. It's not fair. This Nomu was made to destroy All Might. It's not fair. As he starts scratching his neck. Like, he's just scratching his neck now, like, non-stop. As, basically, like, as, basically Shigaraki's just screaming, it's not fair. As the Nomu gets sent into the wall. As she appears in front of the Nomu, As she says, "Where do you think you're going?" As and two gas blasters appear next to her. She flicks her fingers, she fires it as they all like push the Nomu like basically deeper into the wall. As basically the Nomu's health now is at only like 75%. With karma effect, it's only 75%. As basically the shock absorption does a lot because it saves the Nomu from taking hard impacts on the wall a lot. As basically basically she teleports out of there as she's like basically now like next to her classmates and she's busy spinning a bone on her hand and she's smiling and she's like, "You guys go, I got this." As basically Baku's like, "Yeah, right, we're not gonna leave you to do this on your own." As Bakugo basically like he's cocky style, "Yeah, right, we're not gonna leave you to do this on your own." And she puts a finger on Bakugo's mouth and she's like, "Shh, I got this." As she makes a red sword, as basically she charges at the Nomu charges at her. She basically dodges the attack. She slices the Nomu's chest, trying to cut him open. As the Nomu's health goes down by very little, as she's still fighting the Nomu, as basically like she's basically using blue magic to move the Nomu against the wall, basically throw it up in the air, gas to blast him. She's doing all the tricks in the book, and now the Nomu's health is basically at half now, as she's finally gonna do a special move. As her special move is a mixture between all of the sands that is inside her, and I don't know all of these special moves, but I'm going to say that she has a lot of like special moves that she could use. As she dodges a punch, teleports a punch, as it misses, as she finally uses her red knife style, because she basically got hit on that one. Like that punch actually like connected with her and it really hurt. She got pissed at that one as her eye like basically her blue and orange eyes is basically like a circle ring. Like how can I show you now? I think I have something to show you. Basically the circle in her eye, this white circle, is orange and blue on both sides. As in the middle, the black dots turn red. And basically, she basically now like she's finally using her knife style, where she can manifest red knives in the sky as she sends it at the Nomu, as the Nomu is getting cut, and the inside is red. Like there's mixtures of bones, also she's firing as projectiles, as she's used as the Nomu like gets out of this projectile rain. As she punches at her, she blocks with a wall of bones, like just two layers of bone wall. As he breaks for the first one, stops at the second one. Basically she makes a big knife, tries to like basically a sword out of a knife, like Ichigo style. As Ichigo's like sword Zanbakuto is basically that long knife, kitchen knife thing. It looks like a kitchen knife. As she tries to cut off the Nomu's arm, she cuts halfway. It doesn't go all the way off. As she's like, "Damn it!" As she jumps back, as she basically makes another, basically like gas blaster. As like Bakugo and Todoroki are just basically watching this, as they're both thinking, "Damn it! Are we that weak that we can't help her?" As they're like, as they're finally tired of watching her fight, as they step in, as she teleports away because she senses attack. As when she teleports away, to like an explosion and just ice rain gets rain upon the Nomu, as his health goes down to nearly like very low, not to the point where he's one hit, to the point where he is like has 100 health. As basically she's like teleports to them and she says, "I told you you guys shouldn't get involved." As they're like, when not, as they're like, basically they say that they're not gonna watch their only badass girl in their classroom fight a monster like this alone. As as she heard the last one part, as she's thinking, badass girl in the classroom. What, do these two have some kind of crush on me? As like when she looks at the both of them, they're both blushing. As Todoroki in his head is like, did I really just say that? As Bakugo also said, did I really just say that to her? As basically she's looking at the both of them, as she's looking at them in a funny way, as basically they're like, what? They basically like say what at the same time, like, let's just continue the fight. As basically they both get ready, as she manifests two knives in her hand. As I would say she would have a hero suit on. Yes, I would say she has a hero suit on. And if you're wondering, another side note, what happened to the hero versus villains incident? Well, that is a bit different because the hero versus villain did not take place right now. Like, the different things between My Hero Academia and this What If that I'm doing now, the USJ came place before the heroes versus villain. So basically, they're doing the USJ, the rescue division first before the heroes versus villains, because they want to teach some of the children in, how can I say it, in the school to the rescue purpose, or the rescue side of the rescue side of UA, basically. Because UA is not like, it's not just a combat hero school, it's also a rescue hero school. So they want to teach the future heroes this first before they teach the children combat. But they're gonna do it the combat later. But they just didn't expect any like fighting, like they didn't expect like the children needed like any practice with fighting. So that's the difference. The UA is taking first before the hero versus villains test with All Might. As basically Bakugo and like Todoroki are basically assisting like Deku. Deku is basically rushing in with Bakugo, as Todoroki is like raining ice on the Nomu, as it's slowing him down. As basically she tries cutting off the Nomu's arm again, as it goes halfway again, as Bakugo just comes up with an explosion, as the arm basically gets ripped off as it goes flying to the other side of the USJ. As she's basically cutting this Nomu. As I'm gonna say like I'm gonna say plot wise that the Nomu did grab a hold of like Todoroki and Bakugo, and she's like basically Todoroki and Bakugo, as she gains multiple, like basically when she's like gonna watch how the Nomus like kills the both of them just by squeezing them. She sees flashbacks. She first sees Papyrus. Obviously, this is Sansa's just Sans' basically mind, as basically that's a flashback to Sans, as he sees Papyrus's head coming off, as basically a flashback to Overswap Papyrus. Basically she basically Overswap, actually Blue or Sans is dying in an overtail or Overswap. Damn, I can't remember all the names for the life of me. Basically, Sans Papyrus. His Sans is like is basically how his Sans dies. Classic Sans is basically Papyrus, his brother, how he dies. Is his Kara's brother, how Azrael dies. And is his Azrael. I'm gonna call is his Azrael, because the life of me I cannot remember. Or Sans Azrael, how first dies, how Carver dies, basically. As she gains a memory of how also like Gaster dies at the same time. It's just a random flashbacks of certain people dying as she gets she's basically now like full I'm gonna kill you now as she basically uses blue magic, pulls the monster towards her. She basically creates a red energy blade as she slashes the arm right off, both arms, as she throws him right back into the wall. As basically she's like, now time to use my special move. And this is Clash's classic Sans special move. It's just with a mixture of knives, bones, and all those. So basically, the first thing she does is basically throws the beast up, as she throws it down, as basically she puts her hand out to the she teleports to the opposite of the USJ because that's where the Nomu is now. She throws the Nomu up with using blue magic as she throws it to the other side of the USJ, as basically it's this basically like this pattern where the Nomu has to follow. Then he has to dodge like four-corner Gaster Blasters, basically on all corner sides. He has to dodge multiple Gaster Blasters. Then he gets thrown against multiple walls, dropped, and then circle Gaster Blasters. As Nomu's getting hit by all these attacks, as she's using a special, as basically she finishes the Nomu off, basically by appearing in front of her and just slicing his head straight off. And when the head lands, Gaster Blaster destroys it. As the Nomu drops to the floor dead, as the soul just breaks, as the Nomu starts turning to like dust, as she comes up to Todoroki and Bakuro, and she's like, "Are you two alright?" As basically she offers a hand, as basically when they look at like the way that they looking at her now, like an angel's busy helping them now, and they're just like in a trance right now, like wow. As she's like, you two okay? As she's like waving their hands in front of her, in front of their faces, because they're just looking at her now. As she's like, she's now, she doesn't know what just happened. As that's the end of the USJ. And I said, like I promised, I was gonna go over the USJ in this video. Damn, another hour video. I am quite skilled with doing our 1 hour videos. But other than that, I'm gonna stop it here because it's getting quite long now. I'm just gonna tell you another side note of the story. All Might, like after the Nomu is like dead now, as every like basically Bakugo and Todoroki in the trance, All Might appears. Doom! I am here. As he basically when he says I am here and I'm too late to even fight, as like the heroes are long time gone. Like once they saw the way she fights, the villains just booked it. A lot of the villains just booked it. Shigaraki and Todoroki like booked it once the Nomu was dead. As basically almost looking around at all this bones, destruction, like burn marks everywhere. As basically he asked one of the students what happened here, as basically it's basically Momo, and Momo just says that she basically defeated the Nomu and also chased away the villains. As basically it's All Might's basically the girl that All Might trained, as it's Izuku, as All Might just just grins a bit, as he's basically proud of Izuku, as he's basically basically everything goes as canon except for except for Izuku, Bakugo, Todoroki, and Izuku. Actually, they're not. Yeah, never mind. Everything goes as canon. They go back at the school, as they did the USJ much more earlier than they did before the anime started. So they after the of Heroes versus Villain quest with All Might, then they are gonna have the basically gosh, I'm trying to think of the name. The the festival. Then they're gonna have that he like that ranking festival thing to show off the new, basically to show off the heroes in the school. And I think this is getting long enough here, so until next time, everybody. If you like the video and you like the battle scenes I gave, then be sure to like, subscribe, and damn, that's a nice switch. Comment down below if you want to see more of this video, please. I mean, I already got another person commenting that he wants to see more of the basically the anthem, more of the anthem what ifs. And trust me, they are coming, but they're not going to be coming as like frequent as basically this one, because this one is my favorite what if, because I can do a lot of things with this one. I can even send Izuku to a different world if I want to. Like, yeah, I can do a lot of things with this, and I'm going to do a lot of things with this. And if you're wondering to know the reason why the USJ was earlier, like way earlier, and you didn't do the heroes versus villain, number one, that's the plot. The heroes versus villain was supposed to be like earlier, because that's the thing changing about the universe now. As you're gonna see some more Undertale people showing up, such as you also saw two of the villains of the basically basically the people that has the targets on Izuku, and there might be a Undertale war if I feel like making one. It's depending on what happens. But I'm gonna continue there, so I'm gonna stop it there. So bye, and I hope you like it. Subscribe and like and comment.